Okay, as usual, I'm going to let Bonnie say the title of the show
Welcome to Nothing But Worry.
with your hosts, Lance and Bonnie Ash. And we're sitting here on the sofa. Oh, and I'm trying to get really juiced up on caffeine because I got shit to do tonight. Barely did anything last night. I was so damn sleepy, but I slept in fits of like 2 hours at a time all day today. And every time I had to have a little bite of something to eat to make myself go back to sleep. How was your, let's just say, sleep experiences the last day or two?
I could have had better sleep.
I know. I'm going to have somebody give me something like,
Drug.
a pill that would make you sleep 8 hours straight. That's what I need. I haven't slept 8 hours straight in
Ever?
20 years.
Easily.
Yeah. A lot of things happening and a lot of big changes happening lately.
Do we dare broach the...
Do
we dare broach the big one out in Montana?
Yeah, my mother, just a few months ago, my sister dragged her out to Montana because my mother can't live alone anymore. She's got
Alzheimer's.
dementia. We don't know if it's actually. I don't know the difference between official, formal Alzheimer's or dementia, but anyway. So it looks like maybe a week or two away from her dying. And I say the word dying because I'm not afraid of the word dying. I don't have to sugarcoat it by saying passed away. What does that mean?
It's bullshit.
She's going to die. I'm going to die. And little hint to all of you listening out there who may not know yet, you're going to die too.
And this is it. You only go around once. There's no afterlife. This is it. Enjoy it while you got it.
Years and years ago, even my dad, who's a big Christian and a believer, he said to me, we're talking about something, I don't know, and he said something like, you only go around once, or that's that, and I was a little shocked at that, And anyway, not only that, I've made some changes. I just decided that the drafting table that I built a couple months ago is just not working. I just can't. I tried adjusting it last night, and I just realized it needs so many adjustments that I'd rather just go back to drawing on a flat surface. It's just be easier. I really, after experimenting with it for months, I really don't see what the advantage of drawing on the inclined surface is. So I've got a lot of finagling to do to get all that back in order, and that meant making some other changes in the studio. And I'm just gonna, and when I think about it, the old studio next door, it took me years of trial and error and moving this and moving that and adjusting and to get it to where I wanted it. So it's going to take years to get. I've been painting in there 4 or 5 years now.
I don't know. It's been quite a while.
Yeah. So went out today. Must have been yesterday. Today's Friday. It must have been yesterday. Went and picked up a load of CDs for cheap at a library sale, and none of them had jewel cases. It was just the CD and the insert. So I had to find jewel cases around here and put them in place. And today went out and got to listen to some of them. Listened to the band Spoon. First time I've heard of them, but I never listened to them before. And not bad, nothing particularly great, but the singer for The Verve, Richard Ashcroft, has several solo records, and I think I got 2 of them here. And
did you listen to them?
Yeah, pretty good. I'll have to really soak into those later. And they got a lot of Ron Sexsmith albums.
Who is that?
You never heard of him?
No clue.
I've heard of him for years, but never heard anything by him. And I got like 6 or 7 records by him today. And It's all right. I haven't. No, I'm sorry. I haven't listened to those yet. But anyway, I'm going to give those a shot. And some other people I've never heard of before.
Who was that Rihanna person you brought up?
I didn't know. I couldn't.
Oh.
I didn't. There was no. It was just the insert. So I just saw the picture. I get home and find out it's a Rihanna record. So I'm going to give that to somebody at work. If nobody even cares about CDs anymore. Why would you want a physical object, a tangible object? Everything's in the cloud now. My name is in the cloud. My identity's in the cloud.
The thing is that you don't own it unless you fucking own it. Because apparently all these digital things aren't yours. I don't get that.
There's a saying from a couple of years ago. I can't remember the whole saying, but it's basically you will own nothing and you will love it, or something like that.
Christ.
Yeah. They're setting things up so that you'll be a slave. That's basically what it'll be. You'll be property of the company. And all this shit about destroying the economy and destroying the value of the dollar is all setting it up so that the dollar will be worthless and we'll do away with it, and everything will be crypto, and everything will be specific crypto for the organization that you work for. That's what they're setting all of this up to be.
So, reliance on a Ponzi scheme?
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to drag us back to the days of the Mesopotamian empire states, the god emperors. That's what it's all going to be about. And these
for the day that we finally pay off the house and get out of debt. I want so badly. Today I was going over our asset sheet, and because I'm trying to keep an eye on every penny spent, and I was just mortified because two of the things on the list were car payments. And I find it galling that we have car payments. We went for, 15 years without a car payment. And now we have car payments. And it's driving me nuts. I hate it.
Yeah. So, I finished reading the book by Alan Watts. And first time I read it was, years and years ago. And I remember at the time not being profoundly affected by it as much as finding that it confirmed some beliefs that I already had. And same thing happened this time. Some of the things he said in there I think are kind of stupid, but most of it I think I agree with. It's about how, as I think who was it? Robert Anton Wilson said each of us lives in his own reality tunnel. And because of that, your life is a unique experience. And anyway, the point is, so lately I've gotten back into meditating. And one of the things that Alan Watts said in the book that I found to be, again, reconfirmation is don't meditate with the idea of expecting anything to get anything out of it. Meditate because it's enjoyable for you to meditate. Don't expect any, because for years I thought, well, if I meditate, eventually the big revelation will come to me. Philip Kepler talks about, you meditate and then you'll achieve enlightenment. Well, enlightenment is just understanding that your life is unique, and because you're sensing everything, you're making it happen, basically. And anyway, so I started meditating in the last couple of days with the idea of just do it because it's enjoyable at that moment, and it's so much more pleasant because I'm not worried about doing it right or whatever. Anyway,
You just focus on the breaths?
yeah, and the thing is, I've always been like, well, my mind gets distracted. You're supposed to do it and not think about anything. So now I just don't give a shit. If my mind wanders, all of a sudden you realize you're wandering, just go back to just focusing on the breathing, and it's just so much easier to not worry about doing it right or whatever.
You'll be
Anyway,
pleased to know I followed your advice the other day. I was in the echocardiogram for my heart, and they dim the lights so that they can see the screen. And you're positioned in strange ways because they have to view your heart, not just flat, but also on all different sides from under. They actually scope down through your throat at an angle. And there's one particular way where they have to go in on your side. And it's an extended process of getting all these different views because they're measuring your valves and your blood flow rate and stuff. And I had to focus on my breathing, like you've taught me to do when you've encouraged me to do meditation. And there were periods where she would go, okay, I need you to take a deep breath and hold it until I say release. So we kept doing that. Deep breath, hold, release. And at one point, she didn't say release. So I'm still holding my breath. She goes, are you still holding your breath? I said, yes. Because I'm like still holding. You can breathe now. She goes, I'm sorry. She goes, how did you hold it that long? I said, my husband, meditation. Because you were like, focus on, trying to get as few breaths as possible in a minute's time and focus on slowing it down. But that one time I was like, 20, 25. I don't think I could go much longer. At that point, she's like, okay, you can breathe now.
yeah, you ought to start meditating. I think you'd enjoy it.
I find myself trying to meditate at different times, like when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm out and about. We were in the waiting room at the hospital, and I was overwhelmed because the receptionist was talking about her father dying. There was an elderly couple to another side talking. The television is going. The door is open, so you've got access to whatever's going on outside. And then, of course, there's the sounds of the building. And I had to sit there and close my eyes and just focus on my breathing. Because otherwise I would have been completely overwhelmed by all the noise. I don't know how you stand it at work with all the rattle and the crap.
Well, I have earplugs in, and plus the whole time I'm consciously thinking. I'm coming up with entries for my little book, and I have a procedure I use to come up with the entries, and so your brain is occupied. I can't just let my brain go idle, and I can't waste that time at work just pushing shit around.
I thought of you at work today. Thought of when you're at work. I was watching a Pete Davidson movie, and he puts on this music, and the music is just trashy rap. Like sit on my dick kind of shit, I mean, just raw. I don't know how you put up with some of the language and some of the music that you are exposed to up there. Because if I had to listen to it, I'd go, turn that shit off.
Well, I normally don't hear any music where I'm working now. When I worked up at Duluth, you'd have to listen to people playing music sometimes. The supervisor we have now, she has a smart speaker on her desk, and occasionally she listens to stuff, but it's not like sexually explicit rap or anything like that. It's just like waffly love pop songs, and I'm going to sing in a warbling off-tune manner. So it's not that bad. And plus, I have so much to do. I can get away from that pretty easily. She doesn't play it loud.
Well, where Peter used to work, they had it over the intercom, and he said that you would hear the same songs over and over.
Oh God, yeah.
He said it was worse at Christmas because the songs were really irritating. So I can't imagine having to work with somebody who listens to holiday music, to religious music, to sexually explicit music, just to irritating beats, that kind of thing.
When I worked at Kmart, they had like a 30-minute loop that they would change like once a week or something. And it would be the same songs like every 30 minutes. And that Michael Damian song, Rock On, or whatever the hell it was called, it was just vacuous
Garbage.
garbage pop. And, oh well, I don't want to get into all that. Got other things to talk about. So, what else is going on?
I went to Sam's Club this week.
Yeah.
We don't have any memberships anywhere. And I'll ask my dad to pick me up bread flour, 25 pounds of it every once in a while, or a couple 100 feet of parchment paper or something. But I decided that I would go online and look at Sam's Club because I'm increasing our hoard, our pantry.
You're trying to be as thrifty as possible.
Yeah, I am. And like I said, I try to look at every dollar that we spend. And so I went on to Sam's Club, typed in the local store, and I compared it to things that were on sale, things that were at Aldi, things that were at Walmart. I looked at price per ounce, things like that. So Monday, Peter, my dad, and I went to Sam's Club. I spent over $200. Now, mind you, there was about $40, $50 worth of K-Pods in there for our daughter. But we got 50 pounds of bread flour, 20 pounds of rice, and then an assortment of canned goods and some fresh produce, not that much. And I was actually shocked. The pecans that I use in everything, I usually buy them in a $20 bag at Walmart, and I got them for $12 there. And I think we might be joining up later on this year when I get to a point where we need to resupply our, as my dad calls it, our Mormon pantry. My dad has asked several times. He goes, "You're not one of those preppers, are you?" And I have to go, "Well, yeah, kinda." Because we've been this way since the kids were little. And part of it had to do with the fact that we were just far enough out that I would stock up. And then later on, it was time constraints, so you wanted to stock up. And then there was the idea of when we got a larger house, I was able to expand what we had on store. And so I try to keep 3 to 4, sometimes 5 months worth of food on hand, you know.
When they first opened that Sam's Club here in town, they would let you in to walk around, but they wouldn't let you buy anything. But I used to go over there just because all through the store they had little old ladies passing out free samples of stuff, and they'd have like hot samples, you know.
I did not see any of that this time. None of it.
They would have like little chopped up sausages in a grill, keeping them hot. You could get a little piece on a what do you call it, toothpick, or little cheese samples, or little pieces of cake, and you could go in there and eat lunch.
I think maybe it's probably limited to grand openings and certain seasonal
Probably,
things.
yeah.
But yeah, there was 0 of those. And the place is bare bones. Peter and I both were a little bit overwhelmed. I had to stay focused on my list because there's so much in there. And it's like walking through a city, you know, with it just goes up into the sky. And I had to take Peter with me because we had so many large things. We got everything put up, by the way. Wait a minute, what's that? What's that? What is that on the thing? Did we not put something up? Anyway, I think we got everything put up today. Did you move the flour over there from off the counter?
Mm-mm.
Huh. Okay. Anyway, I had to take Peter with me, and he was just grumpy about the whole damn thing.
Well, in case something happened, yesterday I had to take off work because I had to drive Bonnie to the heart check place. And I've made a little bag, like a kit to take with me if I have to go to town and do stuff, you know. So I have a little drawing notebook in there and some markers and pencils and pens and stuff, and I have some other shit. Well, anyway, so I'm waiting for Bonnie to get done with the procedure, and I open the little notebook up, the little drawing thing up, and I start to draw something, and I see um, a note that I wrote in there indicating that I had taken this same drawing book to the same place back in February. Isn't that funny?
Oh my God.
And I wrote below it the date and back here again.
Hmm.
That place is so horrible. It's just, and
It's depressing.
they've gotten to the point where every waiting room everywhere, when they have the TV on, they have it set to the house and gardening TV network or whatever it's HGTV, and it's just garbage. Just have nothing, okay? Just have nothing. So I had to have blood drawn a week ago, over a week ago, and they had the damn TV going in the waiting room for one thing, but also the chick who drew my blood did it wrong, and she just made a mess of my arm.
You are so bruised even now. It looks like you're some kind of junkie or something.
When I took the bandage off hours later after I got home, the blood was still flowing.
It was pouring.
And
I could not believe it.
so
Was
anyway,
freaking me out.
I
It
was
so
waiting and waiting for them to send me the survey through the email. How was your experience coming to the lab? So I wrote 2 big notes, and they're saying, number one, in this day and age, when everyone is addicted to their cell phone 24 hours a day and staring at it nonstop, why do you need to have the TV on in the break room?
No shit.
Number two, that chick who took my blood just
Sucked.
screwed my arm up bad.
Yeah.
And but this is 8 days later now, and it's still got a big red, purple, brown lump in the interior of the elbow, the crook of the arm. Okay, let's see. Trying to think what else is going on. I got to try to call. Today's Friday. I need to try to call my mother again tomorrow, because this may be the last time I get to talk to her. Of course, it'll be a depressing, one-sided conversation where, what?
If even that.
Who is this? It's horrible. It's horrible. And I'm shocked that my sister basically has the same mindset that I do. Just let her go. Don't take extraordinary measures, and just this is just, it's intolerable, you know. So, what?
We got 2 emails this week. Mama's collapsed. They've taken her to the ER. So I called her while Lance was asleep. I said, "Are you okay? Tell me what's going on." She goes, "Oh, I got out of the surgery ward, went down to the ER, and there she was sitting up, just happy as could be, happy as lark." And I was like, "It sounded so serious." She goes, "Yeah, it did sound serious when they called me, because she collapsed twice." And apparently, when she had been in the hospital several weeks ago from getting ill, she had been assigned blood pressure medicine, and nobody had bothered to tell anybody that she had high blood pressure and needed to be on this medicine. So the reason she collapsed was her blood pressure was like 240 over 140. And then she started talking about, she said, "I was so convinced that this was it, that it was going to happen, she was going to die." And she goes, "At that moment I realized there was a sense of relief." And she admitted that what you had admitted was she's not there anymore. Just wish she would just go ahead and die. Just because she doesn't exist anymore. And I was shocked to hear her say that. And then I was further shocked to hear her say, "I realized that they had brought her back. And I thought, we need to have a DNR, a do not resuscitate, because she's 82 and she's been bad for over 10 years now. And the last couple of months, she's just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first time this week. And then, what was it, yesterday? We got another emergency email from her going, she said she was at the nursing home and Jane collapsed. And she took her to her bed. She collapsed again and she pulled a lance. Catherine couldn't hear her heart. She couldn't get a heart rate. She couldn't see any breathing. And so she called for help. Remind me of anything? And, anyway, so they kept her there that time. And she said it was really weird because apparently she'd kept her eyes open when she collapsed. And she thought, oh my God, you know. But the hospice nurse came in and said it's just going to be a matter of days or the next week or so.
I remember.
She's not eating anymore. And she's not taking her pills. And she's just refusing everything. And
I remember. I don't know how old I was, but I'd gotten tall enough that I was taller than her, and I'd done something she didn't like, and she started just. I don't know if she was hitting me with her hand or hitting me with a belt or something on my back of the neck, and I just stood there, and she goes, "That didn't hurt, did it?" And I went, "No." She goes, "Well, I don't know what else I can do. I'm going to have to send you away somewhere."
My God. I can't imagine sending my kids away.
Because I don't know. You know, our kids were such good kids.
They really were.
And our son went through a little bad patch, and we didn't know how to deal with it at first, but then we sort of just decided we're going to deal with this. And everything worked out fine. And, you know, we didn't forbid them. I don't know. It just, I don't know.
We paid attention to our son. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that he was extremely intelligent. And he was extremely bored. And he got frustrated very easily. He's OCD. He's probably on the spectrum somewhere. And it came down to structuring his life. Completely, totally structuring his life. So that even when there was chaos around him, when he was overwhelmed, he could fall back on the routine. He could fall back on the things that he had on hand. Like he had a wallet, and he kept certain things in his wallet. And he took that wallet to school every day, and he knew that he could open that wallet and he could see things that meant something to him, and he could focus on those things.
Yeah, I need to. I missed a chance. I should have talked to my mother. So that whole bad patch I went through in third grade, where they decided, well, the solution is to send him to private Christian school. But to this day, I don't know really what was going on. So
when did you go to a therapist? Was it prior to going to the crazy school?
Yeah.
And they took away everything that you owned.
They took everything out of my room except for the clothes and a couple of books. And if I didn't finish my work every day, if I didn't get I had a slip I had to get filled out every day by all the teachers that I encountered, confirming that I had done my work, whatever my work consists of. And if the thing wasn't filled out every day, I was confined to my room from the time I got off the school bus to the time the next morning. And anyway, blah blah blah. But see, the thing is, I really don't know what led up to this. I don't know what my mental problem was, because it seemed to me that I just lived in a fog that whole year mentally. And now my mother's gone. So I can't ask her the details. And anytime I have asked her for details over the past 30 years, she's just like, well, you just didn't do your work in school, and I just. So there's no, so I need to talk to my dad and see if he remembers anything. And of course, he won't remember anything because he didn't really give a shit about anything except obedience.
Doesn't he get hostile when you go back and explore those bad parts of your life?
If I mention anything that he did bad or they did bad, he just dismisses it all as just confabulation or
You were just a rebellious child and you don't understand.
or just whatever,
I know.
So how dare you question what we did or
We were your
what
parents.
happened?
We had the right
Do
to
you
this.
think I ever questioned my father or said he was a bad father? No. Well, maybe you had different experiences. Maybe you had different needs. Maybe maybe the situation was different. Does that ever occur to anyone?
Another thing that's different between you and your parents, and you have to admit this is true, your parents were not intellectually gifted in any way. They were lucky to get through high school. And I think that your need for stimulation, for engagement, was a lot higher. Peter had that.
You and I've discussed this before. You can't change the past.
No, you can't.
And it's just, you can say, oh, I wish this hadn't happened, or I wish I hadn't done that. But ultimately, that's a fruitless, quest or activity. And I really never should have went to that school. But at the same time, if I hadn't went to that school, I wouldn't have met you. We wouldn't have those children. I wouldn't have the unique experiences that have led up to me being who I am today. And I'm very happy with who I am today, to be honest. So
I love you too, brain damaged boy.
I love you too. Brain damaged in your own way.
It's mentally damaged, emotionally damaged living with you.
Oh, me?
Oh.
I think you've had experiences before you met me that emotionally screwed you up too.
Yeah, I burned those bridges though. I have to live with you. Can't burn these bridges yet. Yet.
I'm just waiting for him to die.
No.
Oh.
Absolutely not.
So anyway, trying to think what else is happening. And I don't want to get into politics because I just don't care anymore.
I do care, but it's too damn depressing. Because
Well, also, it's there's nothing you can do. It's like the asteroid is going to come to hit the Earth. Oh well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Might as well just throw a party. I remember going to this party. I was dating this girl. I must have been 17, and we went over to their house. It was she and her sister had a bunch of friends over, and we went over there to have some sort of this half-ass party, and they were playing the Prince album 1999. It's the first time I had ever heard. Probably first time I'd ever heard Prince. Can't remember. I think Purple Rain was out. But anyway, the point is, that whole notion that they had at the time that the year 2000 is coming up, and once 2000 hits, it's all going to end. That somehow people are so hung up on numbers as symbolic.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. And oh well. Oh dear. I can't think of anything else happening.
You bought a lottery ticket this week.
We're not going to talk about it. You're going to jinx it. If you mention it, you're going to jinx it. So don't jinx it. You're the one who believes in jinxes so much.
It's a hard habit to break, man. Knock on wood.
It is. Because no matter how much you've purged yourself of superstitious thinking, religion or whatnot, it's still in your head a little bit,
Yeah, but still, you're like, okay, so it's so many millions of dollars. I mean, if you just get $1 million, what would you do? If I had $1 million, I would just pay off everything.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to
I would
think.
get out of debt. I wouldn't owe anything on my mortgage anymore.
Well, I think of it. It works sometimes in terms of like, well, what if we get 10 grand, and Bonnie said, okay, well, here, I'm going to give you a couple hundred out of it. What would I do with it? And to be honest, there's a couple of albums I'd buy, a couple of CDs. I'd like to get the latest two Cult CDs. And, but aside from that, I really don't know. There's nothing I want. Get some art supplies, maybe. That's probably pretty much it. I don't really want anything or need anything.
For 10 grand, we could pay off the Subaru.
Mm-hmm.
For 100 grand, we could get ourselves out of debt. For $1 million, God, $1 million. I mean,
Well, I tell you what.
We pay off the house, we pay off our cars. We'd have no debt at all. We would have a massive savings and retirement account. And we would sit on so much of it. But, I mean, I find it hard to think about what we would do if we had $1 million.
Well, I would like
pay off the house.
I would like to take I'd like to go on a trip, and I think if it was a sort of relatively short-term trip, I'd like to go to like New England, visit New York and Boston and Maine and so forth.
Drive?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that way you can see.
But if it was a more long-term trip, I'd love to go to Europe, Germany, France, poke around for a couple of weeks. That would be great.
All the different trains you can take everywhere throughout Europe, it's great.
I'd love to be immersed in the German language for
a couple weeks.
A couple weeks, yeah, and just see how it affects my ability to understand it and so forth.
I would want to do all the prehistoric tours through England.
Mm-hmm.
And not just Stonehenge, all the standing stones and dolmens, all the ruins. You know, if you got that kind of money, you get a driver. And that way you can relax, you know. They handle the driving, and you're in the back, you can listen to your music, you can dine, you go to a place, they handle the parking, you go and enjoy it. You ring the driver when it's time for him to come around. And I think that'd be fabulous.
Yeah. I used to say years ago, you know, I hate driving so much that if I was wealthy, I would never drive again. I'd have somebody that was my driver.
Yep.
A personal assistant. But now, I really don't want anybody hanging around that I don't really know.
Well, I would do it for a trip. I wouldn't do it for my personal time here, you know.
A couple months ago, I saw a short video clip of Harrison Ford leaving a restaurant, and I guess he was going to go get his car. He was alone coming out of the restaurant. I don't know who he was with actually, but somebody in the parking lot yelled out Harrison Ford or something, and he yelled back, "Fuck you" or "fuck off." Is what he said. "Fuck off."
Good for him.
You know, I just can't imagine being in that situation where people pester you, strangers, all the time because you're famous.
Solo.
You know.
Oh my God.
I used to want to be rich and famous so bad, but now in this current world we live in, I don't want to be.
This weekend is Labor Day weekend, and Comic-Con, the what is it called, is in Atlanta this weekend.
Is that Dragon Con?
Dragon Con, there we go. And they, of course, have all the pictures of all the people riding around in MARTA this weekend, dressed like this, that, and the other. And I realized I don't have any desire to do that anymore. Even when Reed went to the Ren Fest this year, they basically dressed in older kind of attire. She had like a lace-up bodice, and this year she had pants on with big boots instead of a skirt with her lace-up vest. Bodice, whatever. And she went for comfort this year instead of just the whole look, putting flowers in her hair.
What did you think of that info about that Renfest that I sent her?
That is a nothing thing. I looked into it in the past. The focus is on having a lot of crafts booths.
That's what it sounded like
and
to
a
me
few
too,
demonstrations.
Yeah.
But it's really not a big deal. But I still think they charge like $10 to get in or something.
I think it's 15.
Oh, is that what it is now? Yeah, the Danielsville one isn't a big deal at all.
When I was out in California for those 2 weeks, I went to this Renaissance festival that was enormous. It was, I don't know what the property was normally, but it was around this big lake, and there was like 3 or 4 different distinct areas. And to walk around it took hours. And they had everything. They had some sort of bullfighting display. They had this woman. It was not strictly confined to the Renaissance era reproductions or whatever. They had this woman doing belly dancing, and they had animals and people in costumes, people doing sword fighting displays. First and only time I've ever drank mead was there, and it's a bunch of stuff.
The one that Reed went to with Andrew last year was like in the Carolinas. And she went frou-frou on that. This year she went to one somewhere near the Atlanta airport. I think I'd been to it at some point or another. I don't remember with who or what, but I've only been to one Renaissance festival. It was somewhere outside of Atlanta. I remember there was like beer and corn and meat on a stick.
Yeah.
And I think that there was a tent where someone would talk about the stars in the sky, and then there was like jousting and sword play.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it was just the booth things.
That's
can't
funny
really remember. I don't even know who the hell I went with.
Because corn wasn't known during the Renaissance era.
Yeah. But when Andrew and Reed went, they got the corn. They dip in a batter of a vat of butter.
Yeah.
And then Andrew got a huge, ginormous turkey leg or something. And so she got a picture of him eating that. And of course, at the Renaissance Festival in South Carolina, they had a lot of nerdcore things. And she got something associated with Doctor Who, of course.
Well, one of the books I have lined up to read, possibly, is the German translation of Ringworld by Larry Niven. And I got to thinking
cool.
there is a famous incident that happened where this was the 1971 science fiction convention somewhere, and the book had come out like a year or two before, and some people who had read the book got together at the convention, and they were like, they had all worked out mathematically, scientifically,
God.
that the physics of the structure as described in the novel weren't workable. And they started chanting out loud, "The ring world is unstable. The ring world is unstable." And this is 1971, and you're talking
It's science fiction. It's science fiction.
But the thing is, you're talking about major nerds.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 71.
Well, don't forget, we have this whole fascination with Lord of the Rings things still, because of the books. And back then, you had Led Zeppelin writing songs based on the Lord of the Rings books. So this whole embrace of mythologies, stories, these fantasy worlds, science fiction, that was very much of the time.
Well, do you remember in the movie Sweet Smell of Success, Martin Milner plays the guitar player with the Chico Hamilton group. And after they play, this chick in glasses comes up to him and says, "Now, when you play blah, 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 does that represent this and that?" And he's like, "Well, you need to talk to so-and-so. He writes most of the material for the group. I got to go." So you've had people who academize or really nerdy up different aspects of culture for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, we saw Saturday night the movie. It's an hour and a half thing to lead into the first show of the first episode ever of Saturday Night Live. It was really good. Highly recommend. And they had what's his name? Dan
Aykroyd?
Dan Aykroyd. And I was shocked that he was being portrayed as the same kind of character he played back in the 90s when he had his own little exploration of ideas show. And I mentioned the one that Leonard Nimoy hosted back in the 70s. What was that one called?
In Search of.
And you reminded me that Arthur C. Clarke had a similar sort of show.
Mysterious World.
Yeah. And then back in the 50s, you had there was the stories of the UFO abductions began.
Mm-hmm.
People began to say they'd been taken by UFOs. The Roswell incident happened, late 40s, was it?
48, I think.
And so all this has been part of our culture for quite a while.
Well, in the late 1800s, they had the same thing
the seance.
as the UFO abductions, but it was ghost abductions.
And
a spirit
fairies.
came to me, and I disappeared for a year. The fairies.
The fairy things were also a big deal. The seances.
Yeah.
Harry Houdini was into it. Wasn't?
No. Harry Houdini was vehemently anti.
Was he anti?
Superstition and ghosts and shit.
Then, was it Conan Doyle?
Arthur Conan Doyle was fooled by the fairy photographs.
Yeah.
His son died in World War One, and it drove him nuts, and he started to believe in all this stuff. But the Saturday Night movie, everybody talked about how Matthew Rhys sounded just like George Carlin. Well, when I heard him speak, all I could hear was, once again, he sounds just like Gene Hackman when he talks. When he was doing Perry Mason, I was like, oh my God, he sounds just like him. And his eye movements are the same as...
My God, yeah.
It would be great to see him do a remake of French Connection. But I don't know who would do the Roy Scheider part. You need to find somebody who has the same voice.
Well, what about somebody like Adrian Brody?
I don't know the voice. I really don't hear. No, it has to be the same voice.
Now, what was the one with Gene Hackman where he is listening in?
I've never seen that movie. That's The
Conversation?
That's Francis Ford Coppola did that. I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, they had it on Amazon. I tagged it to watch, but I don't know if it's free anymore.
I'll tell you something I didn't realize. In the Saturday Night movie, the guy who plays the director of the show, who has the headphones on, he's going, are we going to tape or are we going live? Which one is it? The whole time we're watching the movie, I was thinking, I know him. It was Robert Wool. And if you don't remember the name, in the original Michael Keaton Batman movie, he was the reporter that's digging up, he knows there's some sort of corruption going on in the police force, and and he's trying to research the Batman story, because he's the only one who believes that there's this vigilante out there called the Batman. He was a big deal for like 5 or 6 years back in the late 80s, and then just disappeared. And that was him. I couldn't believe it.
One of the coolest things we discovered after we had watched it was the same actor plays Andy Kaufman and plays Jim Henson.
Yeah.
And those two, other end of the spectrum, visually. And you see it after you know it. But at the time, it completely eludes you.
I had no idea until I'd seen that Jim Henson was averse to using swear words, or was so, childlike.
Family oriented, and thought that his puppets were part of his family.
That they were real people.
And that he didn't want them to be called fuck rags.
He treated them as if they were actual characters, as if they were actual people, and they needed to be treated with respect.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about being family friendly, which it's very kind of odd considering how much he cheated on his wife. He was just a big womanizer.
I did not know that. Can't respect a man that cheats on his wife.
Apparently Alan Watts was a one of his ex-wives said women were like catnip to him. He just
The room.
couldn't get enough women.
She put it in my face.
She stuck it in my face. What could I do? I have a friend who
That's his long
he
excuse.
my cousin was dating this chick, and she found my friend attractive. So she said, "Why don't you come by and we'll take a drive or something?"
Which is amazing considering the contrast in those two. Your cousin was an absolute adorable guy. He was like straight out of Teen Beat in the 80s. You know, he was just so cute. And your friend was like a John Belushi contrast to your cousin.
That's sort of, yeah, that's not a bad comparison, yeah. But he said that she got in the car with him and they had sex in the car, but he said, this is how he described the situation. She stuck it in my face. What could I do?
Oh,
my
God.
But the funny thing is, he said that he went over there and she snuck out through her window to get out of the house to meet him to go off and fuck. And that stuck in my head for years. And I used to live about I lived in a duplex about 2 miles from where she lived. And we had this party over at this duplex I was living in, and I had acid. I think it was the first time I ever did acid. Yeah, it must have been the first time. And I completely wigged out. And I went for this long walk to try to just get my head clear, and I was just half out of my head the whole time. So by the time I kind of came to, I was like, where the hell am I at? And I was 2 miles from the place, and I realized, hey, that chick that he screwed lives right over there.
Aren't you meaning that chick who puts out lives right over there?
Well, anyway, I'm like, maybe I can go over to her place and crash, because I know that her window is open. So I go over there to the house, and I know what window her bedroom is, and I opened the window and climbed into her bedroom and got into her bed with her, and I'm like, hey, it's me, I'm so-and-so's cousin. What do you want? I'm wigging out. She goes, well, you can sleep on the floor. So I laid down on the floor by the bed, and acid has a speed effect. You can't sleep. You just go. So I laid there on the floor until sunrise, and I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I see these eyes peer over the side of the bed at me, like she's confirming that it wasn't a dream, that he's really in the anyway. So I'm like, hey. So anyway,
Idiot.
I know she drove me. I lived 2 miles from there, and she wouldn't drive me home. She worked at the Walmart across from the mall, 10 miles away, or 12. And so,
Walmart?
yeah, back when, you remember the original Walmart across from the mall?
That opened after you and I got married, didn't it?
No.
Didn't?
No. So anyway, she drove me out there. She goes, look, my mom's going to be up soon. Go out and sit in my car and wait for me. And so anyway, I get to Walmart because she won't drive me home. I had to call another friend of mine on a payphone from Walmart to have him drive me back home. Anyway, so the funny thing is, I stole some Led Zeppelin cassettes out of her car while waiting for her. I have been a rogue in my time. Do you realize that? I don't know if you know that about me.
I believe the word is asshole.
As I told you earlier this week, theft is thrift. Oh my God.
Asshole.
When my friend drove me back to the duplex, we'd had this big party, had all these people over, and they'd given me acid. And we pull up in the this is early in the morning. Pull up in the driveway of the duplex. Everybody is still passed out, and the doors to the places are still open. They've just left the doors open. This was like June. So anyway,
Was your bed taken?
No, everything was just a disaster area, mess. Um, I walk in and nobody knew that I had been gone all night long.
You
You
were as
know,
wasted as you were.
yeah. Oh God, that was just those people we had lived
Do you
next.
realize how many years ago that was? How many decades that was?
That was 35 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Because I wasn't 21 yet. I was 20. And
Youthful indiscretions.
my
Stupidities.
my roommate, who was 5 years older than I was, I believe, he was screwing this 14-year-old girl that lived in the next duplex over. And
Oh my
apparently he
God.
became obsessed with her or something. I really don't know what happened.
A 14-year-old child.
Child, I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
She was trash.
I think he was trash too for fucking a 14.
Oh, he was a horrible person. He was just totally indifferent to anybody else's.
Is he one of those people that you're scared to see ever again?
Scared?
Yeah.
No, I'm not scared to see him again. No.
Huh.
He's one of those people that I fantasize about getting revenge on. And that's a crowd of people in my head. Believe me.
Oh my God, Lance. He just need to burn those bridges and walk away.
It's hard when you have scars in your psyche.
You have them on your head, physically on your head too.
There's an old Far Side cartoon where it's this little desert island, right? And there's a duck on the island, and there's this scientist. You see this shipwreck far off in the distance, and you see this scientist wading ashore, and the duck is saying, "Aha, Dr. So-and-so, we meet again, but this time the advantage is mine."
You know what you did.
Oh Lord. That's another example of somebody who he made his money. He made enough to just do what he wanted, and he quit. Same with Bill Waterston, from the Calvin Hobbes creator. He decided he'd had enough, and he quit just to live in the wilderness of Minnesota and paint the rest of his life.
Lucky duckies.
But to me,
We'd have to win the lottery.
to me though, you
Christ.
you you have a chosen art form, and why not keep doing it till you're dead, like Charles Schultz? I just don't understand. Well, I'm really good at this, and this is a fulfilling career, but now I've made enough money that I can just go fishing the rest of my life. I'm going to quit and give it up. I just don't understand that.
I think that when people have success as their art, there is that moment where they have demands. They have the editors calling. They have the book deals that have to be fulfilled. And it probably changes the dynamic and the way that you perceive your relationship with your art.
Well, Bill Waterston had reached the point where he had the clout. The strip was so popular that they would come to him with these lucrative offers. If we just merchandise this and this and this. No, there will be no merchandising of the characters.
Yeah.
And, but see, it's like David Bowie. He kept working up until he died. He kept putting out material and kept creating art until he died. And I respect
CD
that.
Sound great. Sorry.
I thought you liked it.
I did not.
Compare that album's called Dark Star, Black Star, something like that.
Star.
Compare the cover art to that record to Stone Temple Pilots' number 4 record. It's almost exactly the same. And I'll tell you another one that's exactly the same. This is on my blog if you want to take a look at it. The Damned have an album called Phantasmagoria. It has a album cover almost exactly the same as Dead or Alive's Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know album. They're very similar. We have some sandwich baggies here that we need to put into a box so we won't lose them. Bonnie's putting them in order for some reason.
Well, they have two different types of tabs, so they should be separated.
No.
Yes.
Just shove them all in a box.
Yes, separate them.
Oh God, I'm getting sick. I don't want to eat anything. I'm gonna have some more tea in a minute.
I have a book to read.
Oh God, I got so much shit to read.
I have 3 books to read. Or did we get another one today? We got another one yesterday, so I have 4 books to read. Jesus.
I've got 3 books of poetry by John Godfrey to read, and I've got novels to read, and I've got like 7 back issues of the Sun magazine to go through.
Oh yeah, we also have the most recent Economist.
Yeah. But my main focus tonight is to try to get some painting done, because I got very little done last night. My head is itchy. I hate going bald. I just, it's just, I had this youthful, appearance before, and now it's disappearing. You get to this point, and you start looking at famous men who were balding, and you go, well, he looked fine balding. That's it's good. John Connery went bald. It's okay. I hate it. Because when I was a child, I was like funny looking, the ugly duckling. And then I became this Adonis around the age of 17. And then, so you're like, oh, finally, female attention and respect. And then you turn 45 and it starts to slip away. And you're like, no.
Your hair. You do have hair in other places, which I need to trim your neck, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a hairy man. I don't have much body hair. And the funny thing is the hair on my legs has fallen out.
My former brother-in-law had so much hair that when he wore a t-shirt, he had a ring of fur that stuck out from around his neck. It was disgusting.
Bizarre.
He was grotesque.
Oh, God. Let's see how long we've been recording. I'm guessing 35 minutes.
45.
Nope, it's an hour and 2.
Whoa.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can. My butt's numb.
All right, I got to find some decent artwork to go with this. And, I want to bring up something really, really quick.
What?
I have gotten comments over a couple here and there over the years I've been doing this channel, where people go, why isn't this a video? Why is it just a still picture? Well, the main reason originally was I didn't have a video camera and I didn't have proper video editing software. But now, number one, I like the fact that this is basically a radio show. And number two,
Yes.
we learned from Ricky and Elliot on the Internet Today show that YouTube has been, without people's permission, using AI to clean up and prettify people in videos. So, and I don't, agree with that. So
Yeah, it's fucking evil.
So we're going to maintain this as a radio show for that reason, but also because it's an homage to the golden years of radio. There's something magical about radio. So I think that's about it. So
Yes, it is. Goodbye.
bye.